Hello friends, my name is Vikram and I am the co-founder and CEO of HackLab Solutions. Before I give a brief introduction about the COVID solutions that we are providing, I'd like to give an introduction about HackLab and what we do as a company. So HackLab is basically one of the leading safety automation solutions provider in India, based out of Bangalore. We have been working in this field for more than 3 years now, and we use IoT, AI, and robotics extensively in our products to ensure that the workers' safety in their workplaces is always taken as high priority. So we develop solutions to ensure that the various hazards that a worker normally faces in his workplace are eliminated. So we use IoT to basically collect data from various sensors which are put on machines, on workers, and these data points are then used to ensure that the workers in their working area are safe from various hazards. It also ensures that the safety of the workers as well as the productivity of the workers is high. So in this demo, what we showed is that there is a operator who is operating a forklift and he's coming and doing his work and coming close to another worker. As soon as the forklift comes very close to the worker, the forklift is automatically stopped, thereby eliminating the collision hazards which are very common in industries. We also work on other solutions where we use AI algorithms to identify various mishaps or violations that happen in an area. So in this particular video, we showcase uh, our system analyzing the CCTV footage and then using that data to automatically identify people who are violating or people who are not wearing helmets in this particular case. We also use a lot of intelligence on the cloud. A lot of data that we collect from our AI and IoT systems are getting collected in a central server where we can monitor the data points, we can process the data that we are getting in, we can find out a lot of new insights into the data and then use that information to basically reduce life-threatening events and even near misses that are happening. So in this particular demo, we are demonstrating how our fleet management system collects data about the acceleration profile that happened before a crash, how was the crash, where was the crash happening, things like that. And all this data is then used to identify how we can improve the factory system to make it more safe. So as we are working in the safety domain, a lot of our customers were asking us if we have some solutions to ensure that the factories, once they start unlocking or after the lockdown period, how can we ensure the safety of their employees or to ensure that the work in the factories do not stop? How can the work continue as well as the employees are safe from the spread of COVID? So we have identified certain problems that normally are very common in a factory, and we have developed certain solutions for them. So one of the basic problems that we have identified is that a lot of factories require the workers to maintain social distancing, and it is one of the government requirements also for a company to operate, but it is very hard in certain scenarios. So what is social distancing? Basically, you have to ensure that workers have to maintain 6 feet of distance while working. While working, normally people do not obviously have um, always have an idea of how many people are there around them or how many people, and unconsciously they make an error and they come close to another person, so it is very hard to maintain. So there is a need for having a technical or technology solution for it. So one solution is basically to use CCTV cameras to identify people who are violating the social distancing SOP. And if, let's say, a person is detected, the our system automatically detects that from the CCTV cameras and alerts the supervisor that a violation is happening. So the system is designed in a way that a manager need not always sit on the system, and it can automatically give a feedback to the people in that particular area that they have to maintain social distancing. So the system basically works when the CCTV cameras basically collect the data and send the data to a on-premise AI server. So that server basically processes the information and then sends an output to a audio message device which is put next to that camera system. So it will play particular audio. So let's say in this particular case we are detecting that people are violating social distancing. The audio system plays an audio alert saying please maintain social distancing at all times. So such audio messages can be played even in regional languages for the people in the work area to be aware of maintaining social distancing. The data itself is getting collected and stored in a central server. We can also collect it on the cloud, and the manager can get real-time updates of violations that are happening. It can happen through app, it can happen through a WhatsApp message or email. So it also helps the manager to basically go through violations that happen throughout the day and then take an action on people who are common violators in an area. So this will help them in creating a feedback loop for the workers and reward people who are not violating the social distancing, and also keep a track of frequent violators and identify people who come in close contact in the factory. So in this particular demo, we are showcasing how our system works. The camera system basically processes the videos that are coming in real time. There are various parameters that can be configured, like duration for which the person is coming close to another person, how many people are coming, a group is coming, or a single person is coming close to another person. So all these parameters can be configured, and we can collect all this information to identify close people who have been in close contact. We While working on the solution, we came across a scenario where a lot of companies which we were talking to do not have adequate coverage using CCTV, and also it is very hard to do accurate contact tracing using a CCTV camera system. So the idea then we came up with is to use a tag. So tracker tags are one of our most popular products that have already been deployed for collision avoidance system, as you might have seen earlier. So these tags can be placed on helmets or can be put around the arm or the wrist of a person, and that these tags basically communicate with other tags to identify people who are coming close to each other. So basically, the idea of a social distancing system is to ensure that the workers maintain 6 feet of distance. So what we do is we give each of the worker a tag. It's a tracker tag. The tags communicate with each other. If a person comes closer than 6 feet, the tags give a buzzer, and the data of the person who is coming is recorded in that particular tag. So in this particular demo, we are showcasing two people coming close to each other. As soon as they come very close, the tags start recording the data and also give a beep buzzer when they are very close to each other. Then we have certain upload nodes that are put around the factory or around the workplace. As soon as the person comes close to these nodes, the data from the tag is automatically extracted and sent to a cloud server where it can be processed and used for contact tracing. So normally the upload nodes are placed near entry and exit gates, but it can also be placed in other locations. As we are seeing in this particular example, we have a worker who is infected and he is communicating. He basically the data of that person was already on the cloud. So once we identify that a particular worker is infected in the cloud setup, we know that who all were the other workers at risk, and a message is automatically sent to all of them to take precautions, also to ensure that they keep track of symptoms that they might be getting if they are also getting infected with COVID-19. A message is also sent to the manager so that they can keep track of all the people who were at risk. If a worker is safe, he does not get any information or any update from the server. So only the people who are infected will get an update, or who have a high chance of getting an infection will get an update. Another problem that we have identified is that it's very common problem that a lot of factories are facing is that they want to identify people who are sick. Uh, Fever is one of the most basic symptom that a lot of uh, people who are suffering with COVID are have. So we have designed a system which can automatically identify people who have high temperature, and that can be used to isolate and treat such patients. So for that, we basically use a thermal camera. A thermal camera basically gives a thermal image along with an RGB, a normal image. Both the images are then used to identify a person and his temperature. If a temperature is more than a certain threshold, it is highlighted and it is alerted to the security personnel in that area to take required action. Normally the thermal cameras are put at the entry points. Whenever a person is detected with a temperature of more than 37.5 degrees centigrade or around 99.8 degree Fahrenheit, these sensors automatically detect that and basically raise an alarm, and the security personnel in that area can automatically take an action. As an add-on, we can also use the cameras to identify who is the person entering and can automatically identify the temperature and create a log of the temperature profile of that person over time. We can also use that system to identify masks if a person is wearing mask inside that area. If a person without mask is detected, a message is sent to the security personnel to take action. So in this demo, we are seeing a person is detected without mask and it is alerted. Another person is detected with a normal and no alerts are shown. Another one person is detected with without a mask and that is also alerted. Another problem that we have identified, which is very common in most of the factories, is how to ensure sanitization and do frequent sanitization of areas to ensure that the virus does not spread inside the factory from one person to another or many people. COVID-19 virus, which is SARS-CoV-2, can be found on surfaces and it has been shown to last on surfaces for as long as 72 hours, which is 3 days. So a virus which has such a long duration can basically be transmitted from areas which are very hot zones for transmissions, like washrooms, buses, lifts, etc., which are very common. So such facilities have to be regularly sanitized, and it is very hard to do it for areas where the volume of people coming is very high and it is not possible to do it manually every time. Also, in a lot of areas like let's say lift, where the ventilation is not proper, the virus can remain aerosolized for a long time. Because of the small size, it is very much possible that the virus remains in air for a long time. Also, in high pressure events like flushing of a toilet, the virus can become aerosolized and it can remain in the air for a long time. In such situations, it is very likely that a person is getting infected from such areas. So a regular sanitization is possible and has to be done properly, and especially in case of aerosol formation, manual cleaning of surfaces does not help and we need to find better solutions for it. The solution that we have identified is basically called auto UV sanitization. It basically takes uses rays, UVC light, basically to automatically disinfect areas at scale. It is not always possible to and so the solution that we have identified is auto UV sanitization. Auto UV sanitization is extremely good at disinfecting areas at scale, but the problem is that UV lights that we use, which is UVC, is very harmful for human beings also for a long-term exposure. So we need to ensure that the are not getting exposed to such lights for long term. And to do that, we basically use an array of motion sensors, and the UV lights are fixed in areas like washrooms. As soon as the motion sensors detect any motion in an area which indicate human presence, the lights are automatically turned off. We have also introduced a couple of other alarm structures in our system to ensure that a worker is alerted before the UV lights are turned on. So one alarm that we are providing is an audio alarm. So as soon as the lights, before the lights are starting, an audio alarm is played. It can be in a regional language also, to ensure that the person in that area is aware of the sanitization procedure starting. Also, to ensure that people who are deaf, they are also aware of it, a red light is provided along with the UV light setup. So before the UV light starts, a red light will start to ensure that even a person who is deaf is aware of the process of UV sanitization starting, and the red light becomes a visual indicator. We can also add more redundant systems into our sensors into our systems, like we can have people counting cameras at entry points to ensure that the number of people entering and exiting are zero before the UV sanitization system is start. So as soon as the UV sanitization system detects that no human is present, it starts the UV light as shown in this particular video. As soon as a person enters, the UV light has a sensor which detects that, and the UV light turns off. So this ensures that the person is never exposed to UV light. Also, there is a manual control, and all the sensors are connected in series, so and with the UV lights. So as soon as if you want, you can turn off manually the UV light from a manual switch. We also provide a daisy chain setup for our lights, so if any of the lights detect a motion, all the lights are turned off. So even if the third light detects a motion, the first light is turned off. So this is the setup which ensures complete safety of workers inside the area. Another solution that we have identified is using a UV oven to disinfect areas like parcels and tools, grocery items and all, because these are very commonly used items, and there is a requirement for such devices to disinfect the such surfaces. Our system is available in three basic sizes, which one is 20 liters, another is 33.5 liters, another one is 1000 liters, to cater to different sizes of parcel and items that it can sanitize. There is a two-door setup that we have designed to ensure complete isolation of the receiver and the giver. So the person who is putting an item can put it from one side, and the person who is receiving the item will receive it from the other side. So which ensures that they are not touching any common surfaces. Also, we have designed the interiors in aluminium, which has a very high reflectivity for UV light. So it ensures that the system basically can do the disinfection in under a minute for many of the common items that we have. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at this particular email ID, marketing@hacklab.in. You can also contact us at our phone number 63619777326. Thank you.